So you've got a phone and it's full of contacts and phone numbers and people you know. Maybe you have a group chat that's been going on for years. You got coworkers, family, people at church, and yet you still feel alone. And you think to yourself, this doesn't make any sense. It's not like I'm isolated, I'm surrounded by lots of people. And yet somehow you can go days without having a single conversation that actually felt real. If you're new here, I'm Daniel, and this is Full Frame Living, where I help men transform their lives in health, relationships, and money from the inside out using personal development and faith. And today, I want to get into the topic of loneliness and how it's quietly become one of the biggest problems that men are dealing with, and what Scripture says about it, as well as what we can actually start doing to help fix it. So here's the first thing that you should understand is that loneliness isn't just a matter of you being bad at friendships. There's a real psychology as to why this is happening with so many men right now, especially in this specific culture. There's a lot of studies out there that have even tracked this over time with real numbers that are honestly kind of alarming. There's a huge percentage of men that are reporting that they feel like they have zero close friends. And that number has gone up dramatically over the last 10, 20, even 30 years. And this isn't a small shift. It's a real measurable collapse in male friendships. So what happened? Well, a few things stacked on top of each other. The first thing, I'm sure you could guess, was social media. Social media gives you that feeling that there's connection without actually being connected. You scroll, you see people's highlights, you like a photo, you leave a comment, and then your brain registers it as, okay, I performed a social activity today. But in actuality, it's not. It's the appearance of connection with almost none of the nutrients of what a real connection actually provides. And here's the real kicker. The more time you spend in that fake version, the less time and energy you have left for the real ones. The second thing is that these structures that used to force and facilitate male friendships are almost all gone. Back in the day, we used to have school and sports teams, neighborhoods, even just going to the same job for 30 years and sitting next to the same guys. Those were all manufactured ways of friendship. And it was all a side effect of just living life. And a lot of that has disappeared, especially once you hit your 30s and 40s. After that, friendship just stops being something that happens to you and starts being something that you deliberately have to seek out. And most men are never even taught how to do that. The third thing is that men are trained out of vulnerability at a young age. Now, I know what you're thinking. You hear the term vulnerability, maybe you roll your eyes. It seems to be a hot, trendy buzzword. But in actuality, vulnerability is the actual currency of a real friendship. If you can't be vulnerable, you can have 100 acquaintances and still not have a single relationship where someone actually knows you. Now, here's why loneliness isn't just a sad inconvenience, it's actually really dangerous. Loneliness is not just a mental or emotional state. Research has linked chronic loneliness to measurable physical health risks, increased inflammation, higher risk of heart disease, a weakened immune system. Some research says the health impact of chronic loneliness is equivalent to smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. And these are not just exaggerations, the findings are real. And on top of the physical costs, loneliness is one of the clearest predictors of depression, and is deeply tied into even male suicide rates. Men who report having no close friends are significantly higher at risk. This isn't just a soft feelings topic. This is real, it's physical, and sometimes even life or death. And it's been one of those things that's been allowed to hide behind the fact that men just don't like to admit that they're lonely. When we look at Scripture, all the way back to Genesis, before sin, before anything went wrong in the world, God looks at Adam, a man he created, put in a perfect garden to walk with God himself. And yet, he even says that it's not good for him to be alone, even in paradise, even with unbroken fellowship with God. Isolation was named a problem even before anything else had even gone wrong yet. We take a look at Proverbs and it says, iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. It doesn't soften, it's not just for comfort, it sharpens, which implies there's friction, It implies being genuinely challenged and not just being around people who are polite to you. Ecclesiastes makes maybe the most practical case for community in the whole Bible. It says 2 is better than 1, because if one falls, the other can help him up. But if a man falls alone, there's no one there to help him. It's not poetic, it's literal. A man that's isolated has no one to catch him when he's actually going down. You were never designed to do this by yourself. It's not a suggestion, it's just how we're designed. It's the architecture of God. Now I know you might be thinking, okay, that's nice, but I'm a grown man. I got a job, I got a family, I got responsibilities. I don't exactly have time to just go out there and make new best friends. And to that I say, fair, okay. And I'm not telling you to go out there and find a new best friend by the end of the day or end of the week. But what I am saying is that you have to stop treating this as something that will just sort itself out, because it won't. Loneliness doesn't just resolve itself on its own. It either gets addressed on purpose or it quietly gets worse and worse for years while you just tell yourself that you're okay. So here's something you can actually do about it. The first thing I would say is name one actual person, not a group of people, just one specific guy you already know, even just a little bit, who you could reach out to this week. And don't overcomplicate it, because men do this all the time. You don't need a strategy, you don't need to rehearse anything, you just need one name to reach out to. The second thing is, you have to be the one to initiate. I know that feels awkward and weird and vulnerable, and it definitely is, but almost every guy is waiting for someone else to reach out first, which means that almost nobody's reaching out. Someone has to go first, so it might as well be you. The third thing is trade time. Literally, just take 1 hour that you normally spend scrolling on your phone and instead call someone. Or better yet, sit across from them in person. It doesn't have to be some big organized event. Just go grab coffee, a walk, watch a sports game together. The setting matters a lot less than the fact that it's real and it's face to face. The fourth and my favorite thing is be the one who's honest first. If you want real friendships, instead of just surface level bullshit, someone has to be the one to break that pattern. Let it be you. Say the true and honest thing before you're even asked. That's usually what gives the other guy permission to do the same thing. Look, loneliness isn't a character flaw, and it's not something that just happens to certain guys and not others. It's just the natural output of a culture that removes structure that used to build friendships for us. And instead it replaces them with something that looks like connection but isn't. But the good thing is that loneliness isn't permanent, and it's not something you just have to live with. It just takes you deciding to actually address it instead of waiting for it to fix itself. If you want to go deeper on this and other topics like this, I put together a free guide called The Whole Man. It's broken down into 6 areas, just some honest questions and a bit of a guide. There's no cost, and you can find the link in the description below. And if this video hits something for you, please, if you could do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And honestly, if you can think of someone or know a guy that might need to hear this, please feel free to share this video. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.